We went from this final shot
Hey, how are you?
to hearing these words.
Yes, ma'am. I take full responsibility for, you know, my crimes or my charges. I want to say sorry to my family, my mom. My mom got 11 kids. I can't say all their names, you know. My managers, my kids that's not here. Really, everybody that got something to do with this situation, I want to say sorry for just like, you know, having so much time invested into this, you know. And I am a smart guy. I am a good guy, and I really got a good heart. You know, I find myself in a lot of stuff because I was just nice or cool, you know. And I understand that you can't be that way when you reach a certain height because it could end bad, and it don't really have to have nothing to do with you, but it could end bad, and it could, you know, fall on you. And I know the choice is yours. It's up to you. And I hope that you allow me to go home today and just trust in me to just do the right thing and never see you again unless it's at a, you know, bar in the future or something. Just out of this type of situation, I promise you I won't ever be in this type of situation again. I'm going away. I've learned from my mistakes. You know, I come from nothing and I've made something and I didn't take full advantage of it. I'm sorry. Through these last 2.5 years of my life, you are really, truly, honestly, the best thing that has happened to me because you made everything fair for me and everybody involved on both sides, you know. I'm sorry to the sheriff, you know, everybody for just having to put extra time in. I know y'all got paid more money, but I'm sorry for y'all having to put this extra time in to be away from y'all family, you know, and I just hope that you find it in your heart to allow me to go home and be with my family and just do better as a person. I know what I bring to the table. I know what I am. I know the heights I've reached. I know the impact I got on people, period, in the community, you know, all people. I learned that late, like these past 2 or 3 years of my life, I kind of learned that late. And maybe it was because I was, you know, probably on drugs or anything, I don't know. But I have came to my senses and I understand what I mean to this world. But I am a good guy, you know. I don't mind doing stuff like, you know, like free shows, and I always did that. You know, I did free shows and gave it to single parents, millions of dollars. You know, I made $1.8 million on a free show, and I gave it all to single parent charity. And I did like 2 or 3 shows that made like 700,000 a piece, and I gave it to the breast cancer organization. Like, you know, I do things like I put millions of dollars back into my community for real. I really did. I did more than anybody ever did from my side, you know. But I understand, you know, rap lyrics. I understand how it could be twisted. I understand what it could do to the mind of people. I understand all that, and I promise you, I'm 100% changing that. You know, it's just I'm older, I'm grown now, you know, and it's just like I'm smarter. It's more things to rap about. Like I've experienced a lot of good things. I experienced more bad things, but I experienced a lot of good things too. And anyway, I can go.
From being told this,
that you see the shadow in the back of the room. He's the one directing traffic. He is the one they're all afraid of. He's the one that's king slime. He's pulling the shots. He is the most dangerous of the 28, Judge. And I implore you not to grant him a bond. He is dangerous. The setup they've given to you is actually going to be less controlled, not more. If he gets a burner, Judge, and the court may know this, a lot of the communications that Mr. Williams is on FaceTime because it's not traceable, it's not trackable. And we know that to be their MO. He gets a burner, he gets in there, he runs his gang from inside, and he won't get that, and no one's going to throw his cell. I know what the investigator said, with all due respect. That's not the jail. That's their job. It's not the job of 24 officers being paid by Mr. Williams. That's not their job. The job is the sheriff of Fulton County or any other sheriff where our sheriff decides to put Mr. Williams. That's their job. He is dangerous. And I normally don't do this, but I don't hesitate in this case. Respectfully, Judge, I believe if you give him a bond, we're going to have more witnesses in danger or going to be missing. I believe he's that dangerous, Judge. Thank you.
And the shock in how we got here was from this.
Tonight at 11.
Now here's the latest today. A judge held an initial hearing on the charges this morning.
Only Channel 2, by the way, was in Buckhead Monday night as police arrested the rapper Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams. We showed you this exclusive video on WSB Tonight at 11.
Now here's the latest today. A judge held an initial hearing on the charges this morning. This is video from court of Young Thug in a blue jumpsuit. The rapper and 28 other defendants charged in a 56-count indictment alleging street gang activity, including robbery and murder. And Channel 2's Michael Seiden and investigative reporter Mark Winnie broke this story on WSB Tonight last night. Michael is live now in downtown Atlanta at the Fulton County Courthouse.
So, Michael, the thing is, just a few hours ago, investigators, they held that news conference, and this is part of a wide-ranging gang crackdown.
George, this investigation has been going on for months, and take a look at this. This is that 88-page indictment, 56 charges ranging from murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Of course, those two rap superstars, the headliners on this indictment, but the top prosecutor here in Fulton County says this indictment will help get gang members off the street who she says are responsible for 80% of the violence we see in Metro Atlanta.
Hip-hop superstar and Atlanta native Young Thug making an appearance in a Fulton County courtroom Tuesday. His first appearance in front of a judge comes less than 24 hours after authorities raided the rapper's Buckhead home. Channel 2 was the only station there Monday as investigators arrested the 30-year-old. Young Thug, whose real name is Jeffrey Lamar Williams, is one of 28 defendants charged in a sweeping 56-count indictment against the criminal street gang Young Slime Life, also known as YSL. The charges ranging from conspiracy to violate the Georgia criminal racketing law, murder, armed robbery, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, also named Sergio Kitchens, who performs under the name Gunna. As of Tuesday afternoon, the rap star had not yet surrendered to authorities.
My number one focus is targeting gangs, and there's a reason for that. They are committing conservatively 75 to 80% of all of the violent crime that we are seeing within our community.
According to the indictment, YSL is a criminal street gang started in late 2012 in the Cleveland Avenue area of Atlanta. Prosecutors say Young Thug is a co-founder, and he and his affiliates have played a role in some of the city's most violent crimes.
Me and the mayor and the police chief have talked about the fact that Cleveland in our community is referred to as Bleveland.
Also named in the indictment is Jimmy Carlton Winfrey. He's serving a 20-year prison sentence after pleading guilty to firing shots at rapper Lil Wayne's tour buses as they traveled on I-285 in April of 2015.
Yeah, we can tell you that DA Willis says at this hour, arrests are still being made. She says it could be up to 2 weeks before everybody is in custody. Now, as far as Young Thug's attorney, he did tell our Mark Winnie last night that his client is innocent and they look forward to fighting the charges against them.
Young Thug is home with his kids. And if anybody wants to find the video, please do. I forget the video I made. And There was some backlash because I agreed with a small majority or small minority of people on the channel who said enough to convince me that Thug should have took a plea and came home. I know there's so many thoughts racing through everybody's head, and we'll revisit this again. But the biggest thought that you have to keep in mind is that man's kids. Young Thug and his children. If we go back and we look at his kids, bro, his kids were suffering. And Young Thug had a perfect trial. Had a perfect trial. You know why? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to keep it authentic with y'all. Like Ply said, 8 in the morning to 5 at night, there are people going through this eccentric, exhausting, same exact situation. And they don't have the funds. They don't have the resources. They don't have the media presence. I want to thank every single person. Yes, you watching. If you're watching it with a significant other, you're watching it with a homeboy, or ladies, if you're watching it with your man, fellas, you watching it with your woman, ladies, you watching it with your homegirls, fellas, you watching it with your homeboys. I want to sincerely thank you. But before I can, I have to apologize for yesterday. There was something that Paige Whitaker said, and I kind of sat back a little bit because what she said was basically with Lil Rod's situation. Granted, you had nothing to do with anything, but you had everything to do with it. She basically essentially told him, without you even being there, your influence helped impact that young man, and now another young man's life is no longer. Regardless of the reason. Lil Rod was a child who wanted to be down. That's all. That's a lost boy. Whether his dad was there or not, the way in which he grew up or not, any of that stuff. And the reason why I had to apologize to you all watching this is because the behavior last night, I'm not used to being threatened and I can't do nothing about it. And so far, I've been doing good. So some of y'all have not seen that side of me. Some of y'all have. I'm just not used to being threatened, people saying stuff and everything like that because I'm just not that guy. I would never. So I want to apologize for displaying that, but I still stand on what I said. I just had to internalize it better. I don't want no problems with y'all. But at the end of the day, there is influence on this channel. When we look at it, and some of you guys are new here, but we've been doing this for a while. This channel didn't just get 50, almost 60 million views because of the couple of months that we've been covering the Young Thug trial. No. No. So every day we'll still be putting out content. We will do the live stream tonight where we will be giving that $1,000 away. If you qualified, you will be getting a message on YouTube. So please, 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 when I respond to you, please have at least Instagram or Twitter so I can hit you up there and send you the link for the Ustream. And then we're going to drop it in the comments. And I want people to come up and voice their pleasures, disconcerns, concerns, words, whatever it is. This is your live stream tonight. And I want you all to understand something. You all meant something. You all meant something. But to the message at hand, Young Thug was not going to escape this. He just wasn't. There were times where people were up, people were down. You've all experienced a myriad of emotions. But at the same time, This was the best result. Young Thug has suffered in that jail cell. He already had bad kidneys. He told y'all before. But also, Young Thug has lost people. This was the perfect thing to happen for the millions to watch, to understand that you are a victim in the success of your actions. Young Thug has been able to skate and escape and escape and escape so many things that it looks as though it finally caught up to him. And the judge did one of the biggest blessings that you could do. She said, stay out of Atlanta, man. You got 2 days to be in Atlanta. After that, don't come back for the next 10 years. Because somebody may want to do something. Somebody may want to make a name for themselves to put you in a bad position. Somebody may do that. But the worst part about all of this is the victims. From the young man who got shot in the head to the young woman who was killed by riding with SB and his girlfriend, to Donovan Thomas, to Shamel Drinks. Donovan Thomas' family was in that courtroom at the courthouse to make an impact statement. When the judge was right. He wasn't charged with it. So there's that. But Shamel Drink's family was told at the last minute, come say something at the last minute for something that they did not believe. But the reason why I call this thing perfect is because nobody won. Nobody won. Young Thug did not win. Young Thug lost 2 years off of his life. Young Thug has 2 years to make up to his children and his family. Young Thug, Jeffrey Williams, has showed you both sides of justice and injustice. This trial is so important for the youth to understand that somebody broke a probation deal. He's doing 5 years now. There are still people fighting on this case. It's going to go past the year now. Hopefully they get plea deals and they can get up out of here. Then you hear, when I used to do this video called How to Be a Crip, I always said the first deal ain't real. They came with 5 deals for Young Thug. And it's things like that that literally destroys more than it ever can heal. And hopefully, matter of fact, I already know, because I know his security guard. And the security guard, they were already operating this way. But sometimes your past come back to haunt you. And this is exactly what happened. I had to apologize to Woody because I don't think he wanted y'all to see that side of him. The caring person that he is. And it wasn't to make him seem tough. He was very frustrated when we first spoke. Very frustrated. And then he said some things that were real. Those will remain between us. To the tens of thousands of individuals who will watch this video, just want to tell y'all, it goes on every day. This stuff happens all the time. Welcome to the life of the streets, where it's only 2 ways out, the penitentiary or death. When you come from nothing, like Young Thug said, you have the ability to make something out of yourself. Please take advantage of it, because if not, the system is designed to take advantage of you. I'll catch y'all tonight.
After 48 hours from your release, you are to stay away from the metro Atlanta area, and that's defined by the U.S. Census Bureau. It may change. but you can look that up anytime to figure out what that is. For the first 10 years of your probation, subject to the following exceptions, you are permitted to be in the metro Atlanta area to attend any wedding, funeral, or graduation from high school, college, or graduate school of any of your immediate family members. And immediate family members is defined the same way that you all were contemplating it when you were negotiating. You can get here up to 24 hours prior to any such event, and you need to leave within 48 hours after any such event. In addition, during each year of your probation, I'm going to require that you come to the metro Atlanta area and make a live anti-gang and anti-gun violence presentation 4 times a year, each year of your probation, at a grade school, a middle school, a boys or girls club, anything like that, that type of group. And if you want to, that presentation can include a benefit concert, and these presentations may count towards your required community service hours, which I'm going to impose, that during each year of your probation, you perform 100 hours of community service. You are, and this is required by the fact that there's a gang conviction. You shall not knowingly have contact of any kind or character with any other member or associate of any criminal street gang. Exception to that, if your brother is a member of any street gang, I hope you talk him into getting out of it. Quantavious Greer, and then also Sergio Kitchens, as long as you are contractually obligated to him. That is going to include anybody who is named in this indictment, except as absolutely necessary to conduct the lawful business of your musical career, and to any extent that the state is not agreeing to the exception for Mr. Kitchens. In the event that that part is not enforceable because it is only a portion of a special condition, I'm going to provide that that be severable from the rest of this, and I'll put some case sites in the Senate sheet for that. You are in no way to promote any criminal street gang or any criminal street gang activity, including on any social media platform. You are not to utilize any hand signs, terminology, or language that promotes any criminal street gang. You are not to participate in any criminal street gang activity. You are not to knowingly engage in any contact with any of the victims that are listed in this indictment or with any of their family members. And you may not have in your possession or with arm's reach any kind of a firearm because you're going to be a convicted felon. And that is, except I know that you have security and you need security. You can be within arm's reach of a firearm that is in the possession of either licensed law enforcement or licensed security personnel that are in your security detail or anybody that you're performing with. You are to submit to random drug screens and not use any drugs unless they are prescribed for you by a licensed physician. You are to execute a Fourth Amendment waiver that will permit the search of your person, residence, vehicles, and electronics for any firearms, any criminal street gang paraphernalia, or any illicit drugs. And as I mentioned with regard to one of the first of your co-defendants from this trial, at least since I've been involved, to plead guilty, our Uniform Superior Court rules instruct and provide that it is absolutely proper for a judge to grant leniency in sentencing when, quote, the interests of the public and the effective administration of criminal justice are served, unquote. And I think that this plea is in the interest of the public and in the interest of effective administration of justice. Have been trying to ensure that to the extent I can, this trial also abides by that. It's been challenging at certain times. I find your plea to be freely, knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily entered with an understanding of the consequences, and I accept it as such. I also need to inform you that your attorneys were going to represent you through either the last day of this term of court or 30 days from now, whichever is later, and any of the filings that were mentioned that need to be filed within that time, they would file on your behalf unless they are permitted to withdraw from representing you before that time. I am not going to impose the conditions suggested by your counsel about the benefit concerts and the donations to the sheriff's office, but I certainly strongly encourage you to do those things and to do and continue to do things that benefit your community and especially help young people to stay out of criminal trouble. And unless there is anything from counsel other than that,
I have one matter, Your Honor.
okay, and does the state as well?
Your Honor, with regards to Mr. Williams being permitted to come to the Metro Atlanta area or Cleveland Avenue area for a funeral or the other items,
Right.
can you also consider, God forbid, there's a serious medical condition of a person that
In
is...
his immediate family, certainly, we can add that. And I also meant to mention, because I know you do travel all over in order to pursue your career, that it's permissible for your probation to be transferred to out of state, and that has to be done through probation, but that is fine with the court. And you may also keep your, nobody's mentioned it, but keep your passport and travel out of state and internationally to the extent that you need to do that for business purposes as well. All right, Mr. Body.
Yes, very briefly. Thank you. The district attorney just wanted me to urge the court, due to the fact that the Thomases have been negatively affected incredibly traumatically by what's been discussed by both parties here today, to make a brief statement as she believes that they fall within the exception or within the bounds of Marcy's law. If the court would allow, I understand the court made a ruling earlier as it relates to that, but she wants to.
All right. Thank you. And I appreciate, well, I cannot even begin to understand what they must, anybody must be going through when they lose a family member to violence or criminal violence. Mr. Williams himself has expressed his own sorrow to the family. I, again, am going to stand by my belief